answer is they go to fascist regimes. That's where they go. And one fascist regime in particular, and one moment in history in particular. We can go to this moment in 1933. In 1933 in Germany, one of the first things that the Nazis did, the very first things that they did, was in actual fact laws that somewhat resemble the laws that we're talking about now. They banned what they called the freedom of association. We've already heard about the toll puddle martyrs. The toll puddle martyrs won, or began to win, that right of the freedom for ordinary people to associate. And that's precisely what went through with what was called then the Reichstag Fire Decree. And it's well worth looking at that, because that's the textbook for fascism. It's the textbook that these people work off. If they want to restrict freedoms, and they always do, but if they want to push through laws to restrict freedoms, that's where they go. That's what that government put through. 4 weeks, that early, 4 weeks after the Nazis came to power. And that's what they learn, that's the textbook they learn from, and that's what they're trying to do now. If you like, call it what you want, fascistic, proto-fascism, fascist-like, any word you want to use, but that's where they go. And we have to remember that, because we know where that leads. We know where that led. So when we look at the situation now and ask ourselves, how are the cards stacked? And we used to talk in the old days about labour and capital. That's the way. It was a very ordinary way of talking. These days we're not allowed to talk about that. It's as if there isn't labour and capital. And it's as if every time Mick Lynch comes on the telly there is only labour. As if there isn't capital. And when we talk about strikes, we only talk about working people striking. Well, in actual fact, capital knows how to strike. Capital strikes all the time when they don't invest, or when they cut wages, or when they harm conditions of work, or when they close a factory, close offices. That's the way capital goes on strike. So when we say we're defending the right to strike, we're just replying to what goes on every day. That's what capital does. So that's what we're defending. We're defending the right to reply. So that's what we're doing. Now, this is a weak and chaotic government. And we can easily be lulled into thinking that weak and chaotic governments can't do damage. But that's a mistake. Weak and chaotic governments, particularly ones with large majorities, are very, very dangerous, because at this moment their divisions, and believe me, there are divisions that we can hardly see, sometimes they're trying to prove to each other, as much as they are to the people, that they've got the guts to do this, or they have the power to do that. And in situations like that, weak governments can be very dangerous. And that's why our only answer to it is the word that we've heard throughout. We heard it in that song. It is solidarity. Solidarity forever. Thank you.